Okay guys, welcome back. So in this video I want to talk about how masturbation is holding so many guys back because it's a form of giving up. So what I used to hear a lot of on the NoFap forums, which used to be very, very good back in the day, I haven't really been on them in years now because it's just become part of my lifestyle. But I used to hear a lot of guys say that when things go wrong, maybe they've got a bad test result, maybe their girlfriend finished with them. I mean, that's probably an obvious reason to masturbate for so many guys, but something went wrong. They didn't achieve what they were trying to achieve. They lost a race. They didn't get selected for the team or whatever. They'd come home and they'd masturbate, which when you look at the chemistry and the science of it is a very, very poor decision to make. And it's not a lot of guys' faults because they don't understand how that works. But you've got dopamine in your brain. You've got these chemicals in your body where when you masturbate and you ejaculate, it acts even before you ejaculate because of the pleasure, but you've got these pleasure sensors in your brain and it acts like a reward system. So it sort of tells your brain that you're successful, you're doing well. The ultimate goal in life, not in modern life, but in kind of a biological sense, is to pass on our DNA, which we do through sex and we do through ejaculating. So as soon as you ejaculate, you're telling your brain, because it doesn't know any different. And just from masturbation, you ejaculate and you tell your brain that today was a good day. I ejaculated, I managed to, pass my DNA on. It felt good. The reward system tells the brain, fantastic work. Here's some dopamine. You enjoy this, and then it wants more of it. So naturally. But what happens is so many people's dopamine receptors become saturated. And when they become saturated, everything like smaller goals, like for example, if you score a goal in football, you score a touchdown in American football, you hit the buzzer beating shot in basketball, usually you'd be really thrilled. But the more you masturbate, the more you get that kind of pleasure sensor, the less rewarding it is. It gets desensitized. I think they call it the law of diminishing returns in real life as well, how you can be with a 10, as in a woman, and within 2 years you're just kind of fed up. You're like, she's okay. It's just normal to you. Or how you can drive like a Lamborghini and after 6 months of driving it every day, it just feels like a normal car. It's just you just go into the shop, you scratch it, you don't really care. A lot of people kind of develop that mindset. And I just think that whole complex is just really, really dangerous in the terms of, especially for masturbation, because let's say you're walking down the street, you're trying something like NoFap, you're trying not to masturbate and watch porn, you haven't had sex in a month, maybe 2 months, okay? You haven't masturbated and ejaculated in 2 months. You feel absolutely fantastic, you're thinking, okay, things are going well, but you've got this itch that you need to scratch. Now, you see a woman come the other way, she's really beautiful, she's your perfect type, perfect body, and you're thinking to yourself, she's smiling at you, and you're thinking to yourself, okay, I'd love to chat to her because this is the only way I'm going to get sex anymore. It's the only way I'm going to get that release that I need, unless you put it into outlets like fitness, your work, entrepreneurialism stuff. But you're thinking to yourself, okay, my brain's now pushing me and saying, that's what happens on NoFap. You kind of get forced into these situations where you're like, it's this or nothing. So ideally what you'd want to do is stop that woman, have a chat with her, etc. But so many guys still get intimidated and they still get scared, etc., which is natural, it's normal, and they've got that fear of rejection, which is fine. That part is 100% normal. But then so many guys go home and then when they're alone, they'll masturbate to that same woman. And you think to yourself, it's such a cop-out. Like I said, it's a form of giving up. So not masturbating, not ejaculating, not watching porn, it does deprive your body. You do get these urges as a man where you either want to fight, fuck, or do the heaviest personal best deadlift you've ever done in your life, which is great because you can put that energy into other things, like I said, like a business, like your fitness, or approaching women, or the pursuit of sex, etc. But by going in another direction and saying, okay, I'm going to go home now and masturbate, which is what so many guys do on a daily basis, where some guys live like this, where their body is more accustomed to masturbating than it is to approaching women and actually achieving a real goal. It's kind of like starting a business and saying, I could put 12 years of work in, which is the average for achieving success in business. I could do that. But there's this new option where you go home and, I don't know, you scratch your head 20 times and 1 million lands in your bank account. It's just kind of the same thing. Or let's just even use masturbation. Like, let's say you go home, you masturbate, and money comes out your penis, and you're like, wait, I'm richer. Let's put £1,000 in my bank account. Like, it just wouldn't teach you anything. That money would just be hollow. You'd kind of have £1,000. You'd be like, bottle of champagne, whatever. You wouldn't really think anything of it, Whereas when you work your way up and you grind, I think it develops a certain character. And it's, like I said, it's the form of giving up. It's a massive form of giving up, masturbation and watching porn, etc. You have billions of women in the world, like 3.5 billion women in the world, yet you're coming home and you're masturbating. There's literally no excuse to not pursue sex, or no excuse not to pursue women or talk to women or try and get numbers. Now, you don't have to be landing tens. If there's women that are on your level and you're a 5 out of 10 or something, and you think, this is about my level, I want women that are higher. But you start somewhere. Do you know what I mean? You've got to talk. You've got to try and open a conversation. You've got to try and make an effort. But if you just go home and you just give up, how are you ever going to improve? And what is that teaching you in life in general? That's teaching you that whenever things are hard, or you can't really do something, or you've got to overcome a problem, you can find an easier get out of jail card, or an easier way. For example, exhibit A, beautiful woman, your perfect type. She gives you a smile. You get a little bit scared. You think, oh, that's tough. She might say, no, I've got fear of rejection. I'm going to go home and then think about that exact same woman that I could have approached. But it's easier to just do that. It's a form of giving up, guys. It's just not a good habit to have. And as easy as it is to do, you'll thank yourself for the man that you become if you stay away from that kind of shit, especially in the long run. In the long run, as you get older, you become like a 38, 40-year-old man, etc. And you've built that character, you've built that confidence, you've gone through all the shit, the rejection, etc. You'll thank yourself that you haven't been using masturbation as a get out of jail card, as a form of giving up. And you've been doing the harder option, which is to see, if you can attract the women, if you can face rejection, if you can do the stuff that nobody really wants to do, but we all know is the right way to do it.